All right, pound is what? Pound is at a positive 5.2, yen is at a negative 7.2. We know that this isn't just short-term direction to the upside, long-term direction to the upside. This is really nice separation. And the key here is the reason why we do like pound yen is because there's been consistent strength in the pound, consistent weakness in the yen. And for this reason, we believe that when we take it closer to the monthly time frame, I should say, okay, we see that buy pressure has marched, right, and met sell pressure at its weekly upper zone. We now believe that buy pressure with fundamental support, air support, is going to make its way to its monthly upper zone. Okay, so if buy pressure is able to break sell pressure, which we believe it will, it has free range, assuming fundamentals stay the same, to its monthly upper zone before then it reaches its next area of significant sell pressure. Okay, so what do we see here? I mean, there's not much in terms of sell pressure, right? I mean, as we said, buy pressure has been beating the shit out of sell pressure. We get to now the weekly zone and still not much of an impulse to the downside, never mind exhaustion. We hardly see an impulse. And what's even more impressive, I should say, all right, is there was a big reaction. Okay, we had it towards the end of the week. We had a strong move to the downside on pairs that were strong. And the reason why is because, excuse me, just a little second. The reason why is because we had inflation concerns, that plus the fact that we had sell sensitivity on many pairs reaching area of sensitivity. In this case, pound yen was reaching our weekly zone. So the sell pressure from area sensitivity plus the sell pressure from inflation concerns caused this move to the downside, but there wasn't even a full impulse to its daily upper. No exhaustion on the higher time frame, that's for sure. Buy pressure just re-entered as soon as the next opportunity came. And that tells us a lot of information, okay? Now, do we expect, for example, let me actually, you know what, we're going to take the 4 hour. I don't want to confuse you. So when we take it to the 4 hour time frame, okay, here's that impulse to the downside, okay? We see buy pressure, double confirmation, okay? Impulse, second injection of buy pressure. We're now going to see price make its way comfortably at least to previous high. What's going to happen at previous high? I'm sure there's going to be some sort of move to the downside before then buy pressure comes back in and pushes back to the upside. Now, the reason why we're not so concerned, okay, about, I want to move this back to where it needs to be. The reason why we're not so concerned about potential, you know, double top before then a move to the downside is simply due to fundamentals, right? Pound is super strong compared to a super weak yen, all right? So we know that there shouldn't be that second injection of sell pressure, especially as inflation concerns still remain, but the initial shock of it has already passed. Okay, so we do believe we're making a move to the upside. We just got to be patient. There may be, you know, some sort of pullback at previous high, but we just got to be patient. Okay. Now, in terms of entry, okay, so let's talk about entry here. Okay, so what we identified was, okay, price has made its move back to the downside, impulse, double confirmation. So while we now know that price is at least going to make its way to previous high comfortably, we now know that price is probably going to make free range to its monthly zone. And what's important is that price broke its mid-range area, which is where the impulse ended, right? As you can see, we have the impulse, then double confirmation. Price broke this to its high, okay? So we have a bullish engulfing candle close, all right? On the 4 hour time frame, breaking previous high. Now, as we know, a bullish engulfing candle on the 4H time frame is price action confirmation. It's not entry confirmation. Also, when I first saw this bullish engulfing candle, when I woke up in the morning, I also was a little bit hesitant, okay, because we see quite a substantial pin bar. But it doesn't matter because we know that price action confirmation is not entry confirmation. We know that after a bullish engulfing candle close on the 4H time frame, that is a lower time frame push, correct? So after a push, we always wait for exhaustion. Now, this was a relatively strong exhaustion with this candle, okay? But we saw what? 1, 2, 3 multiple pin bars to the upside. That's buy pressure, not letting sell pressure break to the downside. That's buy limit orders coming in, okay? So what I did after this candle closed right here was enter an entry to the upside. Okay, we'll have sell pressure test, and then boom, we're going to have a break to the upside, and the price will make its way to previous high before we see sell pressure come back in again. Okay, if you do care about trend lines, as you know, we care about trend lines, but we don't give it as much respect as zones. We can also see here that price is following the trend line to the upside. Okay, but either way, okay, we are now in. Okay, I was in here. You can place an entry now a little bit better. Okay, now let's talk about our targets. Okay, so targets are what? Now, some of you, depending on the amount of margin you have, you might have to have a tighter SL or a larger SL. Just it depends on the account and the account size, and also the leverage allowed. But this is the most probable SL, and I'll give you a second tighter SL probability. Okay, so the reason why we have an SL down below here, okay, we'll bring it out to the 4-hour time frame. It'll make more sense. All right. First off, as we can see, our SL is slightly below this pin, and it's below mid-range and double confirmation. In my opinion, okay, this is a very nice SL because when price makes its way to previous high, okay, or above, and let's say hypothetically it starts to come against us, we have a ton of buy pressure from its higher time frame weekly zone. Then we have refined buy pressure from its lower time frame mid-range zone. If we were starting to nitpick in terms of area of support resistance, and then we have another one down at double confirmation. Okay, even then we have some more distance. All right, now when we look at our risk reward to our monthly zone, okay, we can see it's a 1 to 1.3 to 1 to 3.5 RR, which is great. All right, now let's talk about why we have TP1, TP2 where it is. When we take it to the daily time frame, again, we're just looking for, like, let's think about this here. A little thinking here. If this is our weekly zone and this is our monthly zone, TP1 and TP2 are likely at our what? Daily upper, daily lower, correct? Awesome. So let's identify. So as you can see here, boom, and boom. Okay, so horizontal sell pressure, buy pressure, then we have another level here. Okay, so this is our monthly upper, weekly upper, daily lower, and daily upper, daily lower are providing our target zones for TP1, TP2. Okay, so pound yen to the upside. Just be a little bit patient. Now let's talk about a little bit tighter of an SL. Okay, whenever you want to tighten SL or you need to tighten SL, again, between every zone there's a lower time frame mid-range zone. Okay, so something of this nature. Okay, the 148.500 range. You can even tighten it up to the 750 range. Okay, but you can tighten it up. I prefer to be where we were. All right, but there are tighter options if needed. Okay, pound yen to the upside. We just need to be patient. Let this baby ride. Okay, once price reaches TP1, we move SL to entry. All right. And depending on how strong price reaches TP1, I may remove 1/3 of my entry, okay, close out 1/3 of my position, or I may start to trail my stop loss. And of course, we will update you on that, okay? Moving on from pound yen.